Adi Shankara only says, Gurorukta Vakye Manoyasya Lagnam. Only those whose mind gets merged in the words of the Guru. Labhe Vanchitartham Param Brahma Sangyam. They will attain everything, all that they desire they will get, and above all Param Brahma Sangyam. They will get the highest Parabrahman. But who? There is a condition. Gurorukta Vakye Manoyasya Lagnam, the one who have paid attention and followed the words of the Guru. For others it is not. It didn't say Gurorukta Vakye Shravana he didn't say. Lagnam he says. Not just Shravanam, not he said Mananam. He said Lagnam. His mind has become merged with the words of the Guru. The only thing that rings in their mind all the time is the words of the Guru. Like Narasimhamurthy said that your future is safe in my hand. Those words kept on ringing and ringing and ringing and saved him from so many of the ups and downs of life. So Gurorukta Vakye Manoyasya Lagnam. Not just Ravanam, not just Mananam. Lagnam, it should become one with you. If that has happened, only then there is scope for Guru's word to find fulfillment. Otherwise, it is like seeds thrown on dry sand. It is not going to grow into anything. It will die with the passage of time for the want of water and nutrition. That's all will happen in a dry mind if it goes and falls. Isn't it? So whose effort is to cultivate the mind? Whose effort is to remove the weeds and make sure the seeds grow? Water it. Asuvana jala siichi siichi prema beli boy. I have nourished it, nurtured it, watered it with my tears. Isn't it? That is what Meera said. I have nurtured it, watered it with my tears. Tears of what? Tears of bhakti. Tears of separation from the self, the viraha. With that I have taken care of these seeds that were sown. And that is why today it has become Abto Bela Phaila Ananda Phala Hoi. It has become grown. It has grown now, blossomed, and now Ananda Phala is ready to be obtained. What is Ananda Phala? The ultimately Brahmananda Phala. That I am divine and that joy is what to be obtained. But if those seeds have fallen on dry desert sand, hard rock-like heads, what is the scope for this plant to grow? No use. So unless your minds are cultivated, unless there is a scope for protecting and nourishing, nurturing this seed of Guru's word, it will not find any fulfillment. Swami speaks to so many people. Hundreds and thousands read Bhagavad Gita. Millions have read Bhagavad Gita, not even thousands. Millions. Yesterday I came across that a Muslim girl has translated Bhagavad Gita in Urdu because she felt that it is such an amazing wisdom. It is not just for Hindus, but it is for everyone in the world. So Abdul Kalam carried Bhagavad Gita, or Waldo Emerson, they read Bhagavad Gita, or it could be Max Muller. From all parts of the world people have read Bhagavad Gita. So also Bhagavad Gita is read by our students and devotees and people in general. But where does the seed of Bhagavad Gita grow? In whose mind it grows? Only those which are cultivated. All dry minds without love, without any lagnam, without any attachment to the words of the Guru, it's not going to come. See, 6 of the boys go to Pipalada, the Rishi, to learn Brahmagyanam. And what is the quality is described of them? Brahma Para, Brahma Nishtha, Brahma Anveshana Mana. With that kind of attitude, one should go to Guru. Brahma Para, devoted to that idea of Brahman. Brahma Nishtha, complete having faith in that idea of Brahman. Dedicated oneself. And Brahma Anveshana Mana. I should have the mind which is ready to, which wants to explore, which wants to know the Brahman. Only then you should go to the Guru. That is why Shraddhaya Paripatena, Pariprashnena Sevaya. With Shraddha you go to the Guru, fall at his feet, win his grace, and then you ask the right questions. Till then, don't. So when this is the situation, everyone should practice. It is not the question. It's not a pressure, it is pleasure. If you practice, it is not a pressure. It's truly a pleasure. It will give you that pleasure which you will not get anywhere else. Ananda phala. So everybody should practice. And this Brahma Vidya is not just for the ones who are growing bald and graying their hair. It is for everyone. Ashtavakra can learn it in the womb of his mother. You are still out of the womb. So this seriousness, Shraddha, it is very, very important. Without that, nothing happens. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparaha samyatendriya. Shraddhavan first. But along with that, what? Tatparaha. He is always ever ready, ever eager. Samyatendriya. He has kept all his indriyas under control. What happens then when you retain jnana? Jnanam labdha param shanti. Para shanti. Not ordinary shanti. Ordinary shanti was children are asleep, shanti. Not that shanti. Jnanam labdha, this kind of jnana, para shanti. Highest of the peace is attained. When? Achirena tadigacchati. Immediately. Without delay. Achirat. Without delay, adigacchati. It comes to you. Or you go to it, whichever way you call it. So, what is the first condition? Shraddhavan. What is Shraddha? I just explained. Guru's word should be taken seriously. Seriously means it should be practiced. Seriously does not mean you learn it and you keep parroting it everywhere. Practice it. That is why Brahma Nishtha, Brahma Para, Brahma Anveshana Mana, these are the qualifications before you approach a Guru. And Manoyasya Lagnam, and when Guru speaks, Guru Rukta Vakya, after you have qualified how? By having Shraddha, by having Tatparata, by having Samyendriya, by controlling your Andriya Nigraha is there, eagerness is there, and also you have great Shraddha. Then Guru speaks. And whatever he speaks, Guru Rukta Vakyam, Mano Yasya Lagnam, only those whose mind get merged and get totally absorbed in the words of the Guru, Param Brahma Sangyam, Labhet. Only to them, Param Brahma Sangyam is to be attained, that our highest. Rest all will be imagining that they attain the Brahma Sangya. That they all will be in the Brahma Sangya. In the illusion that they have attained. Many people think they have already attained, so they don't need to practice. Even Shankaracharya was, so to say, an attained self. Did he not practice? Did he not pray to his Guru? Why should he write Guru Ashtakam? Why should he write Guru Ashtakam and praise Guru? When he already knows what is the truth. Because even those who know the truth, they also believe in the words of the Guru. They still continue to worship because they know it is by his grace that they have attained what they have attained. So first and foremost thing is Shraddha, Tatparata, Indriya Nigriha, Samyate Indriyam, Gramam. Control all your mind and senses. If these three are not there, Jnanam Ladva is not possible. Parashantim is not possible. Achiret, what? Chirat also it will not get. That is what it said. Na Atmaikyo bodhena vinapi mukti na labhyate brahma shatantarepi. If you don't do that and you don't attain that oneness of self, 100 years of Brahma also it is not possible to attain. And when I am telling the whole bar, the threshold, the obstacle has been lowered, it is easier for you to jump across and cross over. The river is not in speed, the water is low, the tide is low. This is the time, jump in. And what you have to work for a year or two, you can do it in a week. How amazing. Who would not like to do it, tell me? Guru's test you have not seen. That's why you all don't know. You too easy, lenient Guru you have got, and makes you understand and makes you pass so easily. Gurus have tested disciples to the hilt. They have shaken them to the core. Only then they have given jnana. One such disciple goes to Dakshinamurti, and he is a silent Guru. He won't even speak. You have to just sit and you have to understand everything. And this Dakshinamurti is also very, very, very tricky. He won't easily make you understand him. That understanding of Guru also should come by Guru's grace. So he will test his disciples to the core. And only those who pass the test would he even entertain them in his Sannidhi. Others will not even be entertained. That is the kind of power the Guru has. One disciple went, his mother told, he is God, fall at his feet and make sure that you don't leave his feet. He is going to kick you, as they say in Kannada, with right foot he kicks, hold on to the left foot. If with the left foot he kicks, hold on to the right foot. So this disciple went, and what did he see? There is no ashram over there. It's looking like a place of bhoga vilasa, pleasures. There are women and men engaging in all kinds of pleasures, carnal pleasures. And Dakshinamurti himself is lying on a bed surrounded by 10 women who are attending to his physical pleasures. And this disciple saw that and got totally confused. He said, this can't be a guru. He cannot be a guru. How can he be a guru? Look at the way he is engaged in all his physical, worldly, carnal pleasures. But then he remembered mother's word. No, he will test you. He will fool you. He will shake you. He will confuse you. He will even push you to the edge. But you should believe that he is Guru. So he went through that. The disciples who were there, half naked, they caught him and threw him out of the ashram. Said, that, why are you entering here? You are not permitted. He said, I must see Dakshinamurti. No, not allowed. Still he made it. Somehow he fought and made it through. And he saw Dakshinamurti himself in a very, very compromising position. It looked like he can't be a guru. But he again remembered his mother's word, these gurus will test. And then he went and fell at Dakshinamurti's feet and said, please don't kick me out. I know you are divine, I know you are God, this is all, you to trap me. And that's when he revealed his true self. And all those people, men and women who were looking like pleasure seekers, they all turned into yogis and rishis. And he himself turned into Dakshinamurti. That is the kind of test gurus can put you through if they want to. After having passed these many tests, finally the disciple gets to learn something at the Guru's feet. When something comes too easy, people become lazy. That is the predicament, that is the curse of things being too easy. But I am only making it too easy so that I can encourage some of you that you should be able to at least think that, okay, at this point in time, it's easy, so let us cross over. Anyway, someday we have to cross. Brahma Shatantarepi, even 100 years of Brahma, if we don't do this, we can keep coming back again and again here and suffer. Imagine how boring if I put you back in your first class and tell you start with A, B, C, D and 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of you would like to go back? If I put you back in the first class syllabus, say you have to begin with A, I, E, A, B, C, D, Kaka, Gaga, learn addition, multi. You will say, I have done all this before. Doesn't matter, you are cursed. Go back to the first class. You have to sit through all those torturous classes. The teacher will take 1 + 1. And if you sleep, he will beat you up saying that can't sleep also. You have to listen to even if you don't like it. Even if you know, doesn't matter. And even if you say, I know all these things, I can pass the exam, take an exam, tomorrow I'll pass, please promote me. Nothing doing. After 12 months, exam will be taken. That's when you can pass. That's when you can go to the next class. Can I bunk school? Not possible. You have to come every day, face the teacher, be with the students, go through every process. How many of you are willing to accept that? Tell me. But you are willing to accept Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. And you want to learn A, I, E again. You want to learn how to walk. You want people to teach you how to walk, talk, behave, how to dress, how to eat, how to use a toilet again and again and again. For that, everybody is ready. Isn't it? Everybody is ready. Why? Because I am not interested in moksha, giksha. I am ready to come back again and start all over again. Get into the womb of another mother. And then go through all the process once more. Run behind paltry things, hurt myself, cry over losses, jump over joyful things, fight, get irritated, irritate others, lose, gain, develop attachments, experience sorrow. Forget all that. Basics. Don't know how to put food into the mouth, don't know how to clean one's own body, don't know how to dress up, don't know how to walk, how to talk. Everything has to be taught. Everything Everybody all over again. But we are okay with that Punarapi Jananam Maranam. But we are not okay to join back the first class. If I demote everybody and put them back in the KG pre-nursery, how many will even want to go there? They'll say, I know, I have done this before. So what? You're demoted. You go back to first class and sit through all those burdensome classes and go through A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Even if you know, even you think you can pass, nobody will allow you to get promoted to the next class. You have to go to all 12 years before you come back to the same position as you are in today. How many are agreeable to that? Not even one person will be agreeable. Not even one person in the whole of humanity will say, yes, I will go back to the first class and start all over again. But all the humanity is willing to go back into a mother's womb, be born again, have no teeth, have no hair, don't know how to clean yourself, don't know how to eat, don't know how to wear, don't know how to talk, walk. They're all happy to go back. Isn't it silly? Just think once, sit down and think once. That if you had the memory of your previous lives, that you were born like this, and that time also you did the same thing. How many of you would like to go back and do the same thing again? Why should we go back failing and go back again and again? The snake and ladders game. At 99, there will be one big snake sitting there. You have seen that? All the snake and ladders you manage, finally that snake at the 99 will bite you. Go back to 1. Restart. How terrible you feel. Have you played snakes and ladders game? How terrible you feel when you escaped all the small snakes, managed all the problems, and finally reached just the one step to 100. And that's when one big snake of Alasyam sits there. Laziness, spiritual lethargy, spiritual laziness sits there. And what it does? Swallows you, sends you right back to the beginning again. How many of you felt terribly disappointed at that point? Tell me. Lift your hand. How many felt terribly disappointed that, I came till 99 and again I have to go back to 1? Everybody has felt. Same thing is life. Same thing is life. We have gone so many times sliding down all the way from 99 to 1 or 0, as the case may be. But here we are okay with that sliding down. Because we are spiritually lazy, we are lethargic, we are careless. We don't care about Guru's words. And we are okay to be swallowed by the snake of Ajnana, Alasya, go down back and restart. Imagine how terrible a soul should feel. Once it leaves the body, all the memories come back. Because the body is the avarana. So this body, it identifies itself with this. And it thinks a new body, so it only recognizes itself as this body. I'm 3-year-old, 10-year-old, 18-year-old. When I die, I'm say 100-year-old. The moment it drops the body, it remembers all its past, hundreds and thousands and bodies that it has gone through, and feels so terrible. Oh my God, again I was bitten by the snake at 99, I didn't realize. Oh, I have to go back to again somebody's womb now. It feels horrible. Nobody can assuage the grief of that soul which realizes, after having left this body, that it did the same mistake again. Nobody can console that I have done the same mistake over and over for hundreds and thousands of births, and every time I left the body, I promised myself, next time this mistake would not happen. I will be more alert, I will be awake, and I will not be lazy. And yet, once you get into the body, the maya of it becomes so strong that you again are bitten by the same snake and you go down again, leave the body and again remember, one more birth, same mistake I made. How horrible. Terrible it is, isn't it? That's what happens to the Jivatma at the time of leaving the body. All the past it remembers, not only of this body. Past of all bodies it remembers. That's why the people who leave the body with eyes open, they have seen that past. Because they have memory of all the past comes back to them and they realize, oh my God, I made so many mistakes. Again, I was told not to. I was taught by a guru. I was taught by the grace of God. Yet I made the same mistakes, and they'll die in the, like wondering, like shocked, with their eyes wide open. Whereas those who have nothing left of their memory, they have only experienced bliss. Whenever you get into state of joy, what happens? Your eyes will naturally close. Isn't it? Whenever you're at calm and peace, what happens? Your eyes are not like this. When our eyes are like this, when you're scared, afraid, shocked, angry, bhava. But when you are at peace, when you are in calm, when you are happy, how your eyes are? Closed. Because you are absorbed yourself in. So when you die, they say if you keep your eyes open with your pupils, dilated and looking in all direction, it clearly means that you have seen all your past and you're left in a great state of shock. That did I do it again? Whereas when you die, your eyes are naturally closing, not the doctors come and close. You close it yourself, and in that state of when you leave the body, it means that you have made good for all the past and you have understood and you have left in peace without any shock and without any such last moment frustrations. You're left in peace. Kruto smara, krutum smara, kruto smara, krutum smara, it says, the Upanishad. At the end, let me remember all that I have done. It prays to God, please remember all the good that I have done. O Agni, Kruto is also Agni. Remember all the good that I have done when you are consuming my body now and making it an ash, making it into ash. Please remember all the good that I have done so that I may be granted the higher lokas, it says, the higher self, the higher status. And I don't have to come back again. Asuryanam te loka, they call it. This loka is called Asuryanam, full of demons. Which demons? These Arishat Vargas are the demons which drag man into this loka again and again. Andham pravishvanti, andham tama. It's darkness, blinding darkness it is. You can't see anything here, they say. You will say, I see everything, all light is there, I am seeing fan, light, I can see each other. This is not ya pashyati, sa pashyati, they say. The one who sees that alone sees. Otherwise, pashyan napi na pashyati muda. Even though one he sees, he does not see. A foolish person, even though he sees, he does not see. The one who sees that alone sees, says the Upanishads. So you think I am seeing everything, this is the truth? No, you are dreaming. You are not seeing anything. Unless you have seen the Atman or realize the Atman, there is no seeing. So the last moment, the soul, the pining, the one who's dying, getting subjected to fire, it cries to the God. Krito smara, krutagum smara. Krito smara, krutagum smara. Please remember all the good that I have done. Please remember that I have done a lot of good and please grant me liberation. Don't let me come back to this Asuryanam loka. This is andham. This darkness, blinding darkness. Because I don't know what I am doing. In darkness, how we grope and try to catch hold of things. And we cannot. Like that in this darkness of the world, we are actually searching for happiness. And we cannot find it. So this inconsolable soul at the time of departure, the pain of it, the sorrow of it, the frustration, the disappointment is indescribable in any words. It feels horrible that I have not done anything about all the good opportunities that were given to me. And I'm again being ready to enter another womb. And again my teeth will come, my teething pains will come, again I will dirty my bed, somebody has to wipe my back, somebody has to give me a bath, another lady, another man will teach me what to do and what not to do. I'll be subject to the same learnings which I have done before, how to walk, talk, behave. I'll be put in the same first class once more and I have to start learning ABCD all over again. It feels so disappointed with itself at that point in time when it leaves the body. So if you want to save yourself, that agony, that disappointed, that frustration, that act now. At that moment you cannot act. If you think at that moment, I know how to handle all these things. Some people they're super confident. Examination, let it come. That 1 week is enough, I will study and pass. Whole year they'll be fooling around. When 1 week is left, 2 days are enough for me to pass. When 2 days are left, 1 day is enough for me to pass. When 1 day comes, there is no time. They'll be frustrated, catching their head in their hands. Like ghosts around the hostel, they'll be running. Does it not happen to us? Same thing happens in our life too. When we are leaving the body, that is when all the memories come back of this birth and beyond this birth. And the disappointment and frustration is incomparable to anything that you have ever experienced in your life. The frustration that I have failed. And then you also realize you're not failed because the examination was tough. Actually, the examination was easy. Actually, there was no examination at all. Yet I have failed and I'm going back to the same. And whose womb? Today you call somebody as your mother. She is mother in this birth. But how will I look at, oh, I'm going to enter another lady's womb. I don't know who that lady is. I'm going to enter another man's house. I don't know who that man is. And I'm going to have another set of brothers and sisters. I don't know who they are. Suppose I take you and shift your house and put you into another person's house and tell, here onwards, they are your father, mother, and they are brothers and sisters. How will you feel? Horrible. Shocked. I thought these are my mother and father. What are you telling? No, that mother, father is over. Now, halfway through your life, I'll pick you up and put it in another house, saying they are your mother, father. You have to listen to them. You have to follow what they say. You have to obey them. What will be your state of mind? Shocked, angry, disappointed. But I will tell there is no choice. You chose to do this. I didn't choose. You chose to do this. Because you didn't listen to what I said. You didn't do what I said. Therefore, you chose this transfer. You chose another womb, another man, another woman, another brother, another sister. House, rich, poor, whichever comes your way. You chose. I didn't choose for you. Isn't it? If you go to bank and say transfer this much money from this account to that account, is the banker who is choosing which account he is transferring? You have given the instructions. Transfer 100 rupees from this account to that account. Banker did not. When you submit a letter to the post office or drop it in the post bags, postman is not choosing where to deliver. You have chosen. You wrote the address on it. And that's why postman is delivering. Likewise, our karmas will deliver us into another home. And we don't know whether that will be as suitable for our spiritual growth as it is today. Or will we be punished for having been lethargic, having been lazy, having been not attentive to Guru's word? Will we be punished by putting us in a class of scoundrels? So that you know the value of the last time you had a class of great humans, great intelligent human beings. You did not bother about it. You join the class of scoundrels now. And now you know what it is to get a good company, satsanga. You may end up in that situation. It's possible. Therefore, Guru Ruktavakye, when Guru speaks, Dakshinamurti does not speak. You have to sit in front of him and decipher what he understands, whatever he is trying to convey. He doesn't open his mouth. He speaks, but he speaks at a higher language. There are 4 kinds of speeches, you see. Lalita Sahasranam, those who chant, they know. She is the Para, Pasyati, Madhyama, Vaikari, Rupa. She is the Vagdevi. So she has, what is the basic is what we speak in words with sounds, with our tongue. Vaikari. That is the lowest speech. It is to be given to the lowest disciples. Lowest speech for lowest medium of instruction should be for the lowest set of disciples. The higher set of disciples, what will happen? Madhyama. Madhyama is what? In my mind itself, I can tell you what you need to know. Your mind will listen to whatever my mind is saying. I don't have to open my mouth and take the effort of holding the mic and speaking. In my mind, I will speak and your mind will understand because you're tuned to my mind, you're receiving it. Some people call it telepathy, but telepathy is a very psychological thing. This is a higher spiritual thing. And you're so much in tune with your Guru's mind that whatever is there in Guru's mind, you just understand. Like Nandi in tune with Shiva's mind. So this is the way Madhyama. So they are higher Gurus and higher disciples. Higher than that is Pashyati. He doesn't even speak, there is no conversation in the mind. You just get the vision of what he wants. So I have in my mind, let us say, I want a rose flower. I don't even have to convey to your mind. You just know that he wants a rose flower and you will get it. That is the higher level of instruction. And the highest level of instruction is nothing. You just know as you are. Para. And Dakshinamurti advises students in para language, they say. It means he doesn't advise at all. In his presence, the student just becomes a jnani, who is ripe enough. What kind of student? Who has Shraddha, despite all the illusions and the confusions that he puts around, you see through all that clutter and still reach the Guru's feet. With that kind of Shraddha, Tatparata, If you come, then Dakshinamurti is going to preach you and advise you. How? In the medium of para. What is para? Nothing. Nothing is spoken, nothing is heard. Nothing is even conveyed through the mind or through visions. You just know it because in his presence you know it. That, should I raise the instruction medium now to silence and then to further, you have your own visions and finally nothing will happen. You just come, you understand, don't understand, go. Find another womb for yourself and be happy. Should I go there? Should I do that? But I know your levels are not that high. That's why I said I have brought down the whole level to such level. Otherwise, Brahma Jnanam, Brahma Vidya. See, this is all Brahma Vidya. Don't think this is something just a discourse and Upadesha. This is Brahma Vidya, for whose sake people have walked miles, served as gurus for years, taken all kinds of tapas, austerities, just to know this one thing. And finally, Guru will tell Tattvamasi, and that's it, done, your Vidya is over. Rest of the life you have to sit and meditate on that. Guru is not going to give you that Vidya. In the sense, he cannot impart it, because they say, Avijñātam Vijanantam. Those who say, I don't know, they know it. Vijñātam Avijanantam. Those who say, I know, they don't know it. That is the nature of Brahma Vidya. So how do you explain it to anybody? How do I transfer it from one to other? So you have to put your effort. The first step only Guru will tell. This is the nature of it. Rest you explore. So how do you explore? With your own self-effort. So tapo tapyata, tapaso brahma vijignyasasva. Do tapas and find out Brahman for yourself. I can only guide you that this is the direction in which you should think. This is the direction in which you should walk if you want to reach Chikbalapura. Walking is in your hands, right? I cannot walk for you. I will not carry you in my hand and take you to Chikbalapura. You got 2 legs, you got eyes. Well, use them. I am only going to show you this is the direction. Keep walking towards that direction, you will meet Chikbalapura. You go reach Chikbalapura. Like that, Guru will only give you the first one Brahmopadesha, he goes and leaves it to you. And the rest all is your tapas. Tatparata. Shraddha. Rest all is in your hand. Means 1% is in Guru's and 99% is in your hands. So what you become in front of a Guru or in the presence of a Guru is less to do with the Guru and more to do with you. At the end, if you don't realize Brahman, you can't go and say, my Guru was actually unqualified. He was a useless Guru, he did not know how to teach. That's why I didn't become Brahma Jnani. You cannot say that. In fact, somebody sent me a question. What if a Guru is really an Ajnani? A fraud in the modern the language, He's a fraud. Still the Shishya is having Shraddha. What is the fate of such a Shishya? Somebody wrote to me. I said, even if Guru is a fraud and Shishya has a Shraddha, Shraddha will take care of that Shishya. Need not worry. Even if he has landed as the wrong Guru. But if he has Shraddha, that Shraddha will look after that Shishya. Guru has no role to play there. So that is the power of your own Shraddha. Even if your Guru is fake and a fraud and an Ajnani, but you have Shraddha, that Shraddha will take you to Labate Jnanam. It will take you to the Jnanam. See, in the whole stanza, Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam, Tatpara Samyutendriya, Jnanam Tapara Shanti, whatever. Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. It didn't say Shishya will attain Jnana. It says Shraddha will attain Jnanam. So if you have Shraddha, and even if I am not there, even this Jula is empty, nothing is spoken here, but you have that Shraddha, the burning desire to know yourself, you will attain it. Some way or the other, grace will fall on you. But if Guru is sitting right in front of you and you don't have that Shraddha, then even if it's with Brahmajnani Guru sitting in front of you, nothing much will happen inside you. In Hindi they say, bhais ke samne, even in front of a buffalo, if you play a musical instrument, what will the buffalo appreciate? Isn't it? Even if a great musician goes and sings a whole raga in front of a buffalo, what is buffalo bothered about? That's why Dunna Pota I call. Water buffalo. Whatever I say, don't understand. When you don't understand what I call, Dunna Pota. When you understand what I call, Bangaru. Because you have subjected yourself to purification, like gold does. From ore, from a mineral rock, it is extracted out by melting it, heating it, beating it. Finally, it becomes Bangaru. So you choose whether you remain in the Dunnapota range of disciples or Bangaru range of disciples. So you have to choose, not in my hand. But what you are, accordingly I will behave with you. So much of you, what you become, it is in your hands, and that I cannot cannot repeat it enough to explain to you that how important it is that you should have your efforts. You should have your tapas. If it's not there, howsoever little, swalpam apyasya, little also you put effort, but not putting effort is not acceptable. Then what will I say? Find another womb, find another home, begin with class 1, kg, even not even kg, you are going to begin with even basic. From how to walk, how to talk, you will start. How horrible. Isn't it? How horrible that is. That I have to go through that thing all over again. Just because of my carelessness. When my guru was speaking, I was sleeping. And now I don't know what to do with myself because guru has disappeared. And there's nobody to tell me which way to go. I'm lost because I have entered the Asurya Nam Loka, the land of darkness, the Andham, Tama, deep darkness. Tama means darkness, Andham means blinding darkness. I have entered the land of blinding darkness again. And I don't know which way to go. And I have no guru around because my guru said, enough with you, done with you. I have tried to give you all kinds of knowledge. I tried to help you, encourage you, motivate you, but you didn't put effort. I cannot come back now. You go through your own experience of this, and from that, pine again, yearn again, pray again, and hopefully 100 or 200 Brahma Shatantarepi, I will meet you again. Then we will see what happens next. How many of us would like to go through that? You tell me. Nobody would like to go through it. It's foolishness to go through it. It's how foolish, utter foolishness to be born again. Suppose you had no choice, you had no guru, you had no one to guide, and therefore, by default, you landed up in that. Somebody can sympathize with you. There was no teachers in the class, the students didn't get their lessons taught, so most of them failed in the class. Or there was a bad teacher who didn't know his subject properly, he confused the students, and that's why students failed. Accepted. A great teacher, a Brahmagyani is there, yet these students have failed. Whom to blame? Students only. Isn't it? And as I said, see, the essence of the essence of the essence of scriptures I am handing over to you in very simple terms. When you read the original Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita is simpler. I think Vyasa realized that I have to simplify the Sanskrit. But do go and read Upanishads. The structure, the construction of sentences, the tense, that thing applies there. They speak as it comes to their mouth. And one para to the next para is no connection. You have to assume a lot of things that, okay, this is what it is meant, because no context is given. So many Upanishads are like, so many Vedantas are like that. Very disconnected. You have to sit and meditate and find the connections between one to the other. Just take Isavashi Upanishad. Every fourth stanza, the concept changes. Start with Ishavasam Sarvam. Everything is God. Suddenly it goes to those who don't believe this, they go into the depths of darkness. Then he says, those who follow the karma, those who follow the jnana, both of them go to darkness. Those who believe in the manifest, those who believe in the unmanifest, saguna, anirguna, both go to darkness, it says. And suddenly it jumps from there and says, oh God, please reveal yourself to me. Suddenly the concept changes. And finally it jumps and says, please take me on the right path and take me towards Brahmaloka, because I have done a lot of good in my life. End of the Upanishad. What do you understand? Where is the connection between these slokas? Somebody has to explain. That's why Shankaracharya said, okay, let me explain it to the people, because they will get confused. If you follow karma also, you go into darkness. If you follow jnana also, you go into darkness. So what should I follow? Why is the effort? Why is the effort should be? At the end of it, I have to just pray to Agni, please grant me the higher, or Surya, Aditya, please grant me the highest of the lokas. Then why I have to do karma and jnana? It will confuse you. But Adi Shankara took compassion. These people will get confused. Let me write and explain to them what I mean, what these Upanishads mean. But still he wrote in Sanskrit, and that also was no less complicated. It was further simplified by Vivekananda. He spoke in English, he explained it in English. Ramakrishna Mission took upon itself to preach Vedanta. to people across the world in simple English, in their language. And I am going one step even lower. He himself is saying, never I have seen such an example. He is a big book reader. He has always been reading. I call him, he has a book disease. He sees a book, he cannot resist. That too, if the book is on philosophy, he will not resist it, or he will pick it up. Natural instincts are there. He will pick it up. He has read for 50 years all kinds of books from all kinds of authors from across the world on Vedanta, on philosophy. If he says that it couldn't have been a simpler and a more than this, the examples, the idea, the way it's been explained. Nobody has done that, because yes, nobody has done that. These examples are not given by Shankaracharya. These are not given by any of the great commentators on all these books. But I am trying to tell you, because in this time, this place, in this situation, this is what is going to be useful for you. No point in me quoting in Sanskrit and trying to speak in Sanskrit, or no point in me going into Madhyama, Para, Pashyati. It will not work for you. So simple Vaikhari, that to a language that you can understand, with examples of your everyday life. Not even I talk about some example of some other country or some other loka. No. Lot of these stories of Upanishads are so symbolic that nobody can understand what they're speaking. So all this and squeezing, making juice out of it, filtering it nicely, putting in a nice tumbler and giving you here, pibare. Don't worry about anything else. I have taken care that the rind is removed, the flesh has been cleaned, any of these seeds have been removed, and only the pure sweet juice of the essence of all the Upanishads and Veda and everything, essence of whole life is being offered to you in a cup. Now all you have to do is drink it. So Guru Rukta Vakye, when Guru speaks, that is why Krishna said, Yathoktam Paryupasate. He didn't say Upasate. Upasate means dhyana. He could have said Uktam Upasate. What I said, the one who does meditation on it. He said Yathoktam, the way I have intended, the way I have said. Paryupasate, not just Upasate. Why this Pari in front of that Upasate? To give it the seriousness. Pari means the higher level of meditation. Means what is higher than meditation? To become one with that. Dhyana, Samadhi. So meditation is only at the intellectual level. Samadhi at the intuition level. It goes into that level. So it says Paryupasate, not just Upasate, not just think of it, Dhyana. Paryupasate, practice it and become one with it. That's what Krishna meant when he said Paryupasate. Yathoktam Paryupasate. The way I have said, that is the way one who completely dedicates to my word and becomes one with it through practice. Ativa me priyaha. They become the dearest of my devotees, because he knows very well. There are people who will do Uktam Upasate, but not Yathoktam Paryupasate. So they will be Sacha me priyaha, Bhaktam Same priyaha. Ativa me priyaha, Yathoktam Paryupasate. That is why when we were describing Bhagavad Gita, this particular word I took and explained it several times. Yathoktam Paryupasate. It's not just ordinary upasana, it is Paryupasana. It is the one and the only goal of your life. There is nothing else that matters to you. That is Paryupasana. That kind of Shraddha is there only, it will deliver you. Otherwise, not possible. It's not possible. And what did I tell? I squeezed the whole syllabus into 1 month's crash course. Now crash courses are in vogue. Nobody wants to study for a year, get into some, or MBBS students, crash course for a NEET exam. 2 months they'll squeeze the entire thing and teach you. What they do day and night they study. Means 2 years course they're squeezing into 2 months. Obviously you have to spend more number of hours per day. So when I have squeezed this whole into 1 month, it means more number of hours per day, more effort per day has to be put. And what is the assurance? Mokshaishyami. Assurance is there. Ma Shucha. Don't worry, just do your part. Mokshaishyami will take care of everything else. At that juncture, the seriousness, the attentiveness, the Shraddha should be so deep. Because if you master it now, whole of your life is taken care of. the master key that can open any lock. If you get it now in this juncture, in this beautiful atmosphere, when your mind is soaked in satsangas, and this, do you think this is for my own benefit? Or do I need to hear myself? I don't need to. But why do we do this? Because as I mentioned, some of you, kaschit dhiraha pratyagatma, I want to know Atman. I want to know Atman. Kaschit dhira, someone amongst you will come forward and take these words seriously and do paryupasana and will attain it. Because once you get this, whole life is a cakewalk. Whole life is a cake. You'll never be affected by sorrows. Can you imagine a day, never you'll have any sorrow in your life. Na shochati, na vijugupsate. Never have any hatred in your life if you just get this right. Na kankshati, no desires will be left. Na moha, na shoka, na bibheti, no fear, no attachments, no sorrow. That will be your life. Can you imagine the golden opportunity? And whole life you can lead absolutely absorbed in bliss. And if you miss the train, find another womb. That's all is punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. So be ready for the consequence. So raise yourselves to be bangarus, not lay in the muck and the slush and the filth of the world like Dunapotas. They enjoy Dunapotas. They enjoy that. You see, the buffaloes, they want to be in that slush and water. They love it because their pravrutti is like that. So if you want nivrutti, move from Dunnapota to Bangaru, the other extreme. Means put yourself through those efforts, that tapas, that will transform you from tamas to sattva, from just useless to invaluable. That tapas you have to do. I want to tell that again, because those who are listening here or those who are listening here after the session, they share and talk, all have to pay first and foremost is that develop this Shraddha. Shraddha should not let you sleep. Shraddha should not let you squander away even a moment. Shraddha should drive you to follow this every moment. I made it so easy. Did I say you wake up at middle of the night and start meditation till 4 o'clock? No. Okay, you woke up at 4 o'clock, good. You wake at 5 o'clock, all right. 6 o'clock, fine. Or you forgot to do it in the morning. I have some time between lunch and next program, all right. I didn't have time. Just before bhajans, I took 10 minutes off and tried to do that. Perfectly okay. A whole day passed away. I didn't do anything. Before sleeping, I'm trying to sit down and think for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. All right. I'll accept that too. But do something. Not doing anything and coming and saying, sorry, I didn't do anything. Absolutely not acceptable. Some sincere Shraddha wants. And first show to the world, this is my sample. This is what my factory is capable of producing. Atma Jnana factory. This is what I am capable of doing. And if I can produce some of you as the samples to the world, then I have some say that if these children can do this, all of you also can do that. There is no scope for excuses and laziness. No, the spiritual lethargy, I call it. Alasya in this, adhyatmik alasyam. Everything else we are damn active. We run to food, run for play, run for every act. Spirituality, oh. That lethargy, that adhyatmik tamas has to be thrown out of the window. And that requires tapo tapyata, tremendous austerities. And what I am saying, I told you, check your thoughts, discard. I am giving a step-by-step plan. 4 weeks to self-realization. 1 week and how many days have passed? I think 4 days have gone since we started this exercise. 3 more days left before you know yourself, before you have diagnosed your pulse and you really know what is the trouble with you. All deep felt desires, subconscious desire, all will start surfacing now. You take a broom and start clearing the dust that has, first layer of dust is the layer dust which came last week. Second layer is a month. Third layer is a year before. So janmas of dust is there. Now as you clean, it will come out. So hopefully in next 3-4 days you analyze yourself. Then you move on to the idea of how to discard the tamas, how to replace it with rajas, how to discard the rajas, how to replace it with sattva, how to discard sattva finally and replace it with only atma tattva. That is the next exercise. But if you have not finished your homework, this one, how can you take the next lesson? Not possible. So you will miss the bus. Isn't it? That is why, see, I do think like this. I should not be dictated as to whether I should be born in which family again. If I choose to be born because I want to do good to the world, as a jnani, let me be born. As an ajnani, falling in that filth again, should read Tripura Rahasya. How she explains this Hema Lekha, she is ruthless to Hema Chuda in explaining. You are born of filth from a part that is dirtiest. And you goad over this body. You are born out of dirt, filth. And you take pride in this body. That is how she shakes him from within. And he says, yes, how horrible. I never thought about it. You made me think. That is the power of satsanga, jnana, vichara, viveka. And you will not read these books on your own, I know it very well. So what I am doing, I am bringing little and giving you little prasad. This, as I said, today apple juice, tomorrow orange juice, day after watermelon juice, removing all the seed, rain, everything, just the juice is coming to you. Not even the fruit, you don't even have to move your jaws to eat it. Just swallow it. Beyond that, what can I do? Beyond that, what can I do? This much you should think. I should think the compassion of a guru. Ahetuka daya sindhu. He is so compassionate that despite disciples not following, over and over and over, because he is so interested in your highest welfare. Highest welfare, not ordinary welfare. Yoga kshema, not just kshema. Because kshema can be bhoga kshema also. I want money, I want home, I want car, I want all this bhoga kshema. He is interested in yoga kshema. And therefore he goes on and goes on and goes on repeating. And this is my lab, this is my experiment. I want to see whether anything good comes out of this experiment of a month. If yes, then I have the boldness to open it up to whole world and tell you also practice. And some of you should take the classes and tell, we did this and we went through this and this is what we experienced. And after the whole exercise, this is where we reached. Why should I speak after this? You should speak for me. You should be my mouth. You should be the hands. You should be the eyes. That's what Upanishads say. God has all these Sahasra Shirsha. So you should explain to the world. That time should come and that time cannot be delayed. Every single delay in this exercise is births of postponements. One delay here in effort may postpone the whole realization by a few births. So look at the power of this time. Kalaya Namaha, Kala Kalaya Namaha. So important this time is. You will not know that. When Shuka talked about things, those rishis, 8 of them or 10 of them sat and listened and they became Brahmagyanis. And they took this message to the whole world. That's your opportunity. This is a great opportunity. I cannot repeat myself enough to explain to you how important it is. But if some of you take to this path, you don't have to worry. You don't have worry. No punarjanma, no punarmarana, nothing. You are freed. And imagine not only freed for next birth. In this birth you are free. You can lead your life every day peacefully and everybody will come and ask, what magic happened in this 1 month when your friends come back from homes, colleagues join back in the offices or your relatives meet you again. They say, what happened in this 1 month? You changed. What is this serene smile always on your face? You don't get affected at all. You don't react like before. You don't get agitated like before. You don't get excited like before. What is this happened in this last one? What did I miss? They should feel terrible that they missed such an opportunity by not being here. And then that terrible feeling should drive them to practice and gain that. But when they see examples in you, they'll be motivated. They see me as an example, no motivation. Straight away they discard it. That is a divine will, and so does divine not will that you also should experience that? That will of divine is only for one person in one place. Does it not will that everybody should enjoy this? Then whose will is not in place? Your will is not in place. Divine will is always there. I didn't will to enjoy it, that's why I'm not enjoying it. Simple as that. So those people who come back from holidays, they should think, what has happened to these boys who stayed back? We thought they were learning band, they were learning music, but they learned something more than that. It's quite obvious with their behavior, their conduct, with their day-to-day activities. It's different. It's notches above the ordinary. That surprise, that kind of a pleasant shock they should get when they come back. That is what you have attained by being in the company of good. Right? That kind of effort is expected of you. And those who put this effort, I assure you that even if you have put a little sincere effort in this path, the rest I will take care. Even if you have taken one sincere step on this path, the rest of the steps are taken care. And imagine it will not only free you and redeem you in this birth, it will redeem you for all the births to come. This opportunity. Like Vaikuntha Ekadashi, the door opens, they say. Once in a blue moon it opens. Once in a year it opens on Vaikuntha Ekadashi. What they say, Amrita showers from there. And if you can cross over on that day, you can enter the Vaikuntha, they say, and be with Narayana forever. So that door has opened. That door has opened wide. You enter, get what you need to get, else the door will close. Not physical doors, the spiritual doors will close. Bus will leave. With whoever is boarded, and the rest of them wait for the next bus. So that is the opportunity. And I said, no words can explain the seriousness, the grandeur, the glory of this opportunity. Under Deepa, lamp, there is always darkness. Every Deepa has darkness below. If you end up in that darkness by being lethargy and lazy, not realizing, you will miss the prema, the light of prema, because you have ended up in the darkness of Deepa. So don't land up there. And what is darkness? Ajnana is the darkness, ignorance is the darkness, tama. Andha tama, not ordinary tama, blinding darkness. Why should you suffer? So all my effort is that I don't want anybody to suffer, because I am not suffering. And I know how not to suffer. And I just can't contain the joy of knowing not to suffer. And I want everybody not to suffer. Why should I alone not suffer? Everybody should not suffer, because you are all my own. That is the compassion of a guru. He knows how not to suffer, and he wants everybody also not to suffer. But alas, papam, he has only so much that he can do. He can make the juice, fill it in a cup and give it to you. Beyond that, what can he do? So that is the opportunity. Don't miss it. If you miss it, you will regret it not for this life, lifetimes to come. You will regret it. And when will you regret it? Just when you are leaving the body. Because that is the short time when you remember all. 2 times you remember all your births, you know? When are the 2 times? When you're just leaving this body, you remember all your past. And when you're entering a new body, when you take birth in a new body, you remember all the past. That's why you cry when you're born. Oh my God, I'll end up in another home. Memory comes back. Oh my God, he thinks. And cries. First thing is, because, Koham, why did I, again, where am I, who am I? The process begins again. And when you're leaving the body, the same process happens. As the last prana leaves the body, the chitta becomes free. And immediately, chitta means what? It's a library of all your memories. For all births, ever since you became a Jivatma, these memories have been stored there. These are recorded. But that is covered by this manas. And manas is there till the body and manas are working together. The moment body drops, the pranas leave. Prana vayu goes, manas becomes very deflated. I said prana and mana are connected. When the prana leaves the body, what happens? The mind becomes very feeble. immediately Chitta remembers everything. Oh, I have been here so many times. I made the same mistake. 99 snake again? No, not again. And then it waits and searches for a new womb to redeem itself. And again, when it enters the new womb, it remembers, I'm again back. Let me not make a mistake this time. But before it can even decide, the parents put a name, put the gotra, all kinds of associations with the child, and tell that you are this and you are that. You are grandson of so and so, great grandson of so and so. This is your name. This is your surname. You are done. Your Maya covers again. Avarana falls. Back to zero. Again restart the process. Then some guru may come, may not come. You may have joined the company of a great guru if you have a lot of prapti and lot of good punya. And who knows, that guru may not be as easy as this. You don't know your fortune. So make sure that you don't squander it away. Alright? I'll take it seriously.
प्रेमामृत बरसाओ बाबा, प्रेमामृत बरसाओ बाबा, प्रेमामृत बरसाओ बाबा, प्रेमामृत बरसाओ बाबा, दया करो भगवान, दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान, तुम्हारी दया बिन कैसा जीवन, तुम्हारी दया बिन कैसा जीवन, रोम रोम में बसने वाले राम, रोम में बसने वाले राम, रोम रोम में बसने वाले राम, रोम में बसने वाले राम, जनन मरण से पार उतारो, जनन मरण से पार उतारो, दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान, कृपा करो, दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान, कृपा करो, प्रेमा